cheers to episode 63.
Cheers.
Tennessee Jack Daniel's whiskey with some Pepsi.
I mean, it's 4:30 p.m. So I'm drinking a V8.
Are you 90 years old?
You know, Evan, you got to get your vegetables.
Yeah, I usually just eat mine.
Yeah, me too, but you can never get too many.
Okay, fair enough then.
What are you drinking, Evan?
I'm drinking a Bud Light Next, 0 carb.
The first of many drinks tonight.
The first of many drinks tonight, correct.
That can is so futuristic. Every time I see it in the store, too.
It just catches your eye.
Well, today is Wednesday, March 16th, 4:37 p.m., and it's time for us to win our bracket pool again. Back to back.
Cheers.
Back to back.
It's going to be too easy for us. Too easy for us.
It was way too easy last year.
Haters will say it's rigged, but...
Haters will say that if we let Evan pick, Oklahoma State would have been our champion.
No.
Wow.
Hey, I was foreshadowing, like, without me picking Oklahoma State last year, I don't think we would have got the first pick. I'm just saying it.
All right. Fine.
Dad, I was thinking about what everyone used for their overrides last year, and I do remember Evan's Oklahoma State. I don't remember Alex's.
Because Alex overrid something and it pissed me off.
Texas Tech.
That's why I overrid him.
Oh. USC, I got us to like the one game, but I had him going a little bit farther, so I think that worked out fine. Well, hopefully they work out again this year. So there's a little tease. The preview for this show is our weekly recaps, which will involve a little bit of Alex had some alcoholic beverages that I've heard. And then Evan and I linked up in Indianapolis, went to the Big Ten tournament. We're going to fill out a bracket. So it's going to be heavy college basketball at the start of this. We're going to do a good tempo to our bracket because last year, with our first time, we went a little bit slower, a little clunky. So we're going to go good tempo. That way it's not too long of a show. And then we can, on the very back end, sprinkle a little bit of notes about the Lions free agency, our thoughts. They didn't do much, so it won't be that long there. But just some thoughts about what happened in a crazy couple days in baseball and football out there. So everything's happening at once. It's like the off season for two sports, and it's just wild. Baseball's back as well. That was very under the radar there during college basketball. But let's start with our weekly recaps. We'll let Alex go first, and then we'll do the Big Ten tournament stuff after he goes.
Oh, okay. What did I do this weekend? Well, Friday, I enjoyed the Michigan State-Wisconsin basketball game with some friends. And then went out on the town. You know, it was a good time. Owned the dance floor, I'd say, as a friend group again.
Really?
This time without
gritty?
Yeah.
You hitting that gritty still?
I've never done that, but
I can't
I'll
lie.
start.
Shit. Fan.
Yeah. So I was Justin Jefferson in the middle of the dance floor. So it was a good time. Probably drank a little too much because Saturday, horrendous hangover.
Oh.
I'm not, it was weird. I woke up fine and I felt fine around noon, projectile vomit.
Ew.
Okay. All right. That was
Food poisoning.
bad.
Food poisoning. What'd you eat for breakfast?
Projectile? That's what was on the shower?
It didn't happen in the shower, but so yeah, it was very alarming. After I did that, I felt totally fine again. Had to rally because friend of the program, IT guy for the podcast, Drew, invited some people to run it back on Saturdays.
Happy birthday, Drew. Cheers to you, man. Happy birthday, Drew.
Yeah, happy birthday, Drew.
Cheers to you, Drew.
But he invited some people, so I had to dig deep. I still got it. Drank again Saturday. Stayed up way too late till 4 a.m. watching Project X.
Wow.
Great movie.
What a film. What a flick.
Then, Sunday, I did a whole lot of nothing because, I overdid it Friday and Saturday.
Big of you to admit that.
Yeah. But I still got it.
Got Taco Bell?
Oh, yeah. And watch Succession.
Nasty.
Stop, Evan.
What?
You love Taco
Evan,
Bell.
come on.
Evan. You've asked
Evan.
me in our life that, hey, can we go get Taco Bell? I've heard that.
Hand up.
So you like it. And everyone should.
All right. I will hop into mine. Evan, you can kind of mix in if you want to riff off any points I make about the Big Ten tournament. So went down there on Thursday, drove down, lovely drive, trip down memory lane. Used to take that drive all the time to go to school from Michigan to Butler. Nothing's really changed. The highway's kind of nice. You know, they finally redid all the roads that they've been working on all 4 years that I drove there. This is my main takeaway. This is the overarching picture from the Big Ten tournament. First time ever going. Indianapolis is Disney World for Midwest folks, I would say. There's just something about that town that is built for Midwest adults mainly. Because the reasons why, there's steakhouses everywhere. Midwest people love steaks. They love like a thick cut of meat and some potatoes and like a little bit of greens before they go. And then they want to go like watch a sporting event. So perfect there. It's one of the most walkable cities in the country. Like if you stay in any sort of area in a radius, you can walk to all these places. A lot of brick roads, which people love. Old Midwest people love like brick. A lot of buildings are brick. They love it. Great drink specials, whether you're hopping over to Kilroy's, no free ads. Kilroy's does not need ads. They're one of like the most grossing bars in America. They just are an absolute wagon. They have a bunch of Long Islands that are cheap. And then like a little teaser for what Evan and I linked up at the Wild Beaver Saloon, little Wild Beef. They have Beaver beer, which I guess was cheaper when you went last, Evan, but it was $3.50, which is still, you know, decently cheap when you consider other places around the country. So yeah, I mean, it was just an all-you-can Midwest buffet. I also wrote that I think at one point I was sitting there in between games in the session and just watching the hallway, people watching, and it has to be like the denim capital of the world for that weekend. The amount of pairs of jeans you'll see, all different shades of blue walking back and forth with your team gear on top of it. I mean, there's just jeans everywhere down in Indianapolis for that weekend. What'd you think, Evan?
Indianapolis.
Not your first time
down there. Yes, for the basketball tournament. This time differently because it's a sold out arenas every single time. Different location though. I thought Gainbridge Arena was gorgeous on the inside. It's very nice. Updated, modernized. Bathrooms were a little small, and the upper deck concourse was a little small. Other than that, nothing complaint. Great venue to watch basketball. I don't think there's a bad seat in the area. You're not like too far away. I sat in the upper deck for every game, and I didn't feel too far away. And then bars were nice, were great. Everything was a walking distance. Got cold at night, unfortunately, because we got there Thursday, and it was kind of just like a sweatshirt and jeans kind of day. But then the other 2 days was strapping in like 30-mile-per-hour winds, and you're below freezing for wind chill. Overall, great time. It's a nice event to go to. Like if you enjoy a sporting event, just seeing all the different fans, fun time. It's kind of weird to see fans that stay there like all weekend, even though like their team would lose on like a Thursday or Friday, because there was a bunch of Illinois fans there still like Saturday night and Saturday evening.
It's also the capital too of really cringy rivalry jokes, where I can't tell you how many times you'll either, you know, be in line for something or someone gets on an elevator where I heard like, oh, guess we can't let you on if like someone's wearing Michigan gear and Michigan State people are in it. And everyone's like, oh, that's so funny. And then it's like, oh my God. It's just like, can we just not do like these dumb jokes? Like no one's actually going to hurt each other. IU fans are losers. Oh, sorry, Evan, what was that?
No, I just remember on the way down Thursday, you know, taking the trip down, two friends, you know, just SUVing down the highway. We're probably 10 minutes from the hotel where we just got to check in. We're probably on a 5 or 6 lane highway. We're in like one of the far right lanes, just minding our own business. Like, hey, we got to get off soon. We're kind of looking, okay, trying to find the exit, you know, okay, got up here a little bit ways. All of a sudden, there's a Jeep in one of the far left lanes, speed lanes. It just turns right into traffic and just T-bones a sedan. Just a car accident happened 20 yards in front of us. Literally 20 yards in front of us. And the person driving, you have to know because it's even funnier if you know the person driving. He just sits there and just screams, oh! And like, lucky there was nobody around us. And like, but the Jeep that like caused the accident, it at one point was directly looking at us. It was just head on head, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is
We're
it.
gonna die.
This is it. Luckily, I think those were the only 2 cars that got into the accident. We kind of, you kind of had that awkward silence in the car after you witnessed that. And then we just made jokes the rest of the weekend. Like, we saw a car accident on the way here. That's how we started off Indy. Wild Beaver was great. Fantastic. The walk back was even funnier.
All-time video. Whoa.
It's even funnier because, like, it's probably taken out of context, people thinking Cheese was, like, over the limit. But,
no,
like,
I think it was how he was yelling.
Yeah. But he was doing that because we were running. We were above the limit probably a little bit, but nothing like Miami trip, nothing like that extent. And so we're crossing a street, and then we're crossing like a field. It's kind of like there's a building, and we're crossing like the front yard of it, basically. And all of a sudden there's a homeless man behind us in like an alley, just like holler at us. I had no idea what he says. No idea. And so we take off even more, and then Cheese, we're on the sidewalk, and he's just like, man, that run just really dried out my throat. And that's what caused it. He was forcing himself to do that. And it was even funnier because I didn't get the video of like the first minute of it. I just got the second minute of what was happening, and that's what was going around the group chat. It was hilarious.
It was very funny.
Had the worst service of all time at B-Dubs after what game was it? Saturday.
I have an important question.
I have a important answer.
Let me check here. Make sure I wasn't dreaming. You called my phone at 1:23 a.m. March 12th, 2022.
Yeah, you called me back. I didn't answer.
Correct. I thought something was seriously wrong.
No. So the people I was with, they're kind of childs. They are childs. They were prank calling people, and there's an app where you can just get somebody else's like ID phone caller to pop up on your phone. And so I never called you. I never called you. No, it was not me. It was Cheese, and he used my phone number as the prank caller ID.
That's quite the technology to be able to do that.
Interesting.
As long as you have the 2 numbers, I guess it works.
It can show. It showed your number, and he was calling from
Trust
someone
me, I've
else's
gotten
phone.
it done multiple times to me before. So where I would like answer it because it's somebody that's like, okay, they're probably actually calling me for wanting something. I say hello, and then on the other end, it's like,
wouldn't I just immediately?
Hey, it's Quinn. I've missed you. That's basically what's on the other line.
But I'm gonna see that it's your phone number. I'm gonna just be like, oh yeah, it's Cheese. Like, I'm not dumb.
It's okay.
Could have answered when I called back.
I was like half asleep. I was laying in bed. I knew you were calling to see if everything was okay. What night was that? It was Friday?
Friday night, 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I can think of is I walked like hip to hip next to Gene Keady in the hallway of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and I was like, whoa. Not that, I mean, he's like, what, top 5 Big Ten coach of all time? And he didn't have like much of a crew around him, and they're just kind of, shuffling him to the game. I'm like, whoa, that's a Gene Keady. And I was thinking about just how that'd be if you had Tom Izzo one day is just going to be being led by a group around, I don't know, probably Gainbridge Fieldhouse somewhere.
Mariucci.
Just walking around just amongst the people. I was like, wow, I didn't think I could get that close to him. That was cool. Outside of that, I mean, the whole tournament itself, they're just kids, like I said, on Thursday specifically. They're just a bunch of kids playing basketball out there. You saw a lot of crazy things happen, some good, some bad. I did really enjoy Wisconsin losing, and it's kind of been a theme where we joked about like, oh, Spartan, Grant, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to this season, my hatred for Wisconsin basketball is much, much higher than Michigan State. So I was full on Michigan State, standing up, clapping. There was like 6 grown Wisconsin men to my right. And boy, do these guys just complain about everything. Oh. I was telling Evan about how it's so funny to watch their brains get in a pretzel watching Brad Davidson play basketball because they're complaining about Julius Marble flopping in the first half, saying, oh, Tom Izzo must coach flopping at practice, like out loud just saying that. A lot of people that are not Michigan State fans, like in other states, do not like Tom Izzo, which I found interesting. And then in the second half, they were saying, oh, like that was not a flop by Brad Davidson when he went flying across the lane from a little nudge from Hogard. And then another time they're like, oh, this is Big Ten basketball. You don't get foul calls like that about something else that Michigan State wanted to call. I'm like, well, Brad just went flying across the lane and you wanted to foul for that. But then you're saying this is Big Ten basketball a second later. You don't get foul calls like that. So it was really hilarious to watch them just like meltdown. It was very funny.
So the Wisconsin game, Maryland, the upper deck wasn't as full, but it was still a lot of fans, more than I expected. Wisconsin game, less fans than I was expecting, but where our seats were, we didn't really have that many people around us or like behind us. So like I was kind of like standing up for most of the game and screaming my head off. And there's 4 of us in my group, and we were screaming our heads off for Michigan State. There were 2 little Wisconsin fans sitting right in front of us. And the first time we screamed and yelled, probably 4 minutes into the game, both of them instantly turned around and looked at us like, what was that noise? And like just scared and shocked. And one of them instantly put their hood up and crouched down in their seat for the entire rest of the game. I was like, you know what? I don't feel bad. This is a experience as much as theirs is mine. I'm going to cheer my head off. And we were being obnoxiously loud in the second half.
That reminded me when you told me of but I didn't think about it at the time, but it reminded me of when we were in Miami and there was like little kids down below to our right and they kept looking at us, but then their dad, I kind of felt bad, but then their dad was watching naughty videos during the game. So now like, I don't really care.
What?
Care.
You don't remember that?
You may have been too far to the left.
Yeah, you weren't part of the gang over there.
I think I told you, but we were probably also
naughty
in a drunken
videos
state
during the football game.
Yes,
in Miami at
How
Hard Rock
naughty are we
Stadium.
talking?
He was watching porn, like on his phone.
Oh
Yes.
my god!
It wasn't even hiding. He just had his phone out and was just scrolling.
No, he was
basically.
just like scrolling, and then like his kids were right next to him, and they kept looking at us when we'd yell for MSU. And I was like, I don't feel bad now because your dad's watching porn next to his kids.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
But it just reminded me of like kids looking back at our group of friends. I tried to remind myself of that.
Looking at the kids at the movie.
Because there was some annoying Purdue fans behind where I was sitting the next day when they played Michigan State. And I just had to remind myself, if I was there with that many of my friends in a row, we'd be just as obnoxious. Yeah. So I'm going to like let all these people off the hook. Like they can say what they want. Yeah,
Saturday I was outnumbered in my section. It was a lot of neutral fans, but I had the big old sausage Purdue fan, mustard stain guy behind me. And I just couldn't stand his voice after a minute listening to him.
Yeah, I thought Saturday would be way louder based on how the loudest it got was Purdue versus Penn State Friday night. I thought that was going to translate to Saturday, but IU fans had all the tickets because it was their Super Bowl, and they just were zombies for the second game because they were dead because they just got Bohannon on a bank shot, which was hilarious for me. All right, let's pick a bracket. I have it for housekeeping. I'm logged into the ESPN account. I will do our picks live as we go here. I pre-filled one just so we had to say it, but it'll change as we go. Alex, I'll let you choose because you usually have good ideas when it comes to order. What's the most efficient way for this to work? Like the order of how we go, do the same one for each round or like change it per region, whatnot? Any ideas for that, guys?
I think just region. Just go in the same order for the West, different order for the East,
that way
order for the South.
That way someone's not always the tiebreaker because we don't.
Yeah, correct. Each game, whoever goes first changes. I feel that.
We could just change every game. You could just go when you feel it.
All right. And if you want to, I would say if you have any, we'll fill it out, but like just so we're not awkward silences or on top of each other like last year, if you like have something to say, just do a quick like little finger. Like 'cause sometimes about a game, you might just want to say your pick and don't really care to talk about it. But if there's something like really itching to say, just if you're waiting for someone, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We can get all the 1 seeds just advance right away so we don't have to pick the 1 versus 16 matchup. Yes, it has happened, but this year I don't see it happening. So I would say that. Anybody object to that? All 1 seeds just advance right away?
Good with me.
No objection.
All right, so we're going to start in the West. We already have Gonzaga going. We have an 8-9 Boise State, Memphis. I like Boise State.
I got Memphis as well. Memphis is only
Go
one.
Tigers.
Amani Bates is back with the team. Does that change anyone's mind?
Is he actually?
He's not.
Yes,
though.
he practiced today.
No.
What? Yes, he did.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
saw
serious?
a photo on Twitter today. He's practicing with the team today. He might play.
Stop. That definitely changes mine.
On God. On God.
Why would
there's
they do
an
that?
article.
They've only lost. They started 9-8. They've only lost twice since they kicked him off the team, or since he left the team.
He's with the team.
Well, of course he is, because it's March Madness now. He's got to get popularity back up.
We want Boise.
He's not going to play, I don't think.
But locker room guy.
Culture guy.
Memphis, he's not playing.
Memphis.
I don't think he's going to play.
Fine. UConn, New Mexico State.
Champions.
I have UConn as well. Never forget, I don't know if you guys, I just remember Nebraska, the former guy, his name was Teddy something. He's a transfer. He plays for New Mexico State now. If you watched Michigan State last year at home, this dude would just jack up threes no matter wherever he was at the corner. Basically lost Nebraska the game on purpose. It looked like he was so out of place. He's just on New Mexico State. Goes. Fun fact for you.
Arkansas, Vermont, trendy upset pick. What do we think? I like Arkansas.
I like Arkansas as well.
I think it's the Catamounts. Is it the Catamounts?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
I like Vermont, 31 team, but I'm not going to push through.
All right.
I can see Arkansas losing this game or also like going super far. Like they're hit or miss team to me. But Vermont is an absolute wagon when it comes to covering spreads. They are an underdog here, but if they were a favorite in this game, they would cover it automatically. Just to get that out there.
I just always feel like if the Anthony Lamb Vermont teams never won anything, like I don't know enough guys. I always knew his name when they played from Vermont, and they never could win. So I'm just curious, but it's definitely a closer spread than you would think. So probably will be tight.
What is the line?
I don't know.
Last time I saw it was 5.5.
It's close. Connecticut's is close too. It's a little bit closer than you would think. I think that game could be within 10. Yeah. New Mexico State's one of those teams like you just know nothing about. You're just like, where? I know where it's at because the state's name is in it. But all right, Alabama versus Rutgers or Notre Dame. A little tough because there's no.
I'm picking the 11.
Are you?
No matter what.
Yeah, I think so.
I like Alabama. Evan tie breaks.
I like Alabama.
Thank God.
Bad pick, guys.
No,
you'll
that's
see.
not true.
You'll see.
A team that always plays in the first four makes it far. I just don't know if it's either of those teams.
I know obviously things can change, but like Rutgers is here because of how good they were at home, and on a neutral court they're a different team, and they looked pretty terrible at Iowa against Iowa in the Big Ten tournament in their one game. And also, crazy thing going back to there, Rutgers assistant coach who sat on the end of the bench got kicked out of the game by getting 2 technical fouls. I have never seen a low-level assistant like that get kicked out of a game, getting 2 techs in a game, and their head coach didn't even seem to get mad about it. He's just like, all right, whatever. Crazy.
People forget Rutgers should have made it to the Sweet 16 last year.
Did they bring everyone back? Did they like lose anyone big for that team?
They only lost the young to Oregon and their big guy to
Rutgers.
UCLA.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. All right, Texas Tech, Montana State. I got TTU.
Is this my trendy 14?
14 and a half point spread. I got Texas Tech.
Best defense in the country.
I'll take the Tech.
Nice. Oh, here we go. So how we're going to do this for our state is that when we get into Michigan State Davidson, the floor is more open to talk about, what you can get in a little bit what you saw from the conference tourney, how it's going to look for this matchup, and we'll kind of go from there. So you can spend a little bit more time here on this one, obviously. So we have 7 Michigan State versus 10 Davidson.
Michigan State a 1-point underdog right now.
Wow.
Keys to the game, yes, everybody's going to talk about Foster Loyer against the team. He knows our playbook better than theirs. I like our guard defense overall. I don't think he's going to be that big of a factor. Yes, he probably will score, but I don't think he's going to go off like 25 or 30. Tyson Walker being 50-50 if he's going to play or not, I think it's going to dramatically hurt us with depth and point guard position. As long as Hogarth's not turning the ball over and running the offense like he was against Purdue, I think we'll be okay. And the one matchup I have is that forward. I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm not even going to try it. I think his last name's Lee.
Sharpshooter.
That's the only position where he's going to shoot and he's going to get his volume shots up. And where the matchup where, Joey or Malik are on him, they're not guarding a post player, so to speak. He kind of hovers around 3-point line. And then Davidson's offense, like our defensive communication on ball screens has got to be flawless because you're going to see them a lot. They're going to be moving on offense. They don't really stand around that much. If they do, they're throwing it down to the post player. But he's not like a bruiser like we've seen in the Big Ten, so I don't think he's going to be as big a factor. He probably will still have a double-double, but I don't think he's going to make or break the game.
Who are you picking before I do my keys?
I'm not picking.
No.
Whoa. Okay, go ahead.
Time
Alex.
out, Alex.
All right.
Give us
Keys.
a pick. Come on, Alex.
Absolutely need to dominate the glass. Your athletes are significantly better than Davidson's. So I think Michigan State has a big athletic advantage, a big size advantage, and then also I would like to see Michigan State run in transition and just, I think they need to abuse Davidson down low. And I think Bingham should have a solid game. There's no reason he can't. What worries me about Davidson, they have 5 shooters on the floor at all times. I think they're the best 3-point shooting team in the field, I believe, or close. They're up there. And they shoot really well from 2 as well. So, close out, box out, don't give second chances. And then also they do turn it over a little bit more than you would expect. So try to turn them over and get out in transition. It could be a huge difference in the game.
Davidson does?
I mean, if they turn it over like 9 times a game.
They're 15th best in the country and not turning it over.
9 times a game when you compare it to my team of 25 a game, which is not true, but it feels like you can get them to turn the ball over a little bit.
There's some things here when I dove into this that are interesting to me. I'll say this. First of all, Michigan State side, Jaden Akins is going to have to be kind of like every March, there's like a breakout guy for a team if you're going to make a run. A lot of times, especially if you're a lower seed, someone that just kind of steps up, Jaden Akins will have to do that if they're going to make the Sweet 16. And that's even, more so if Tyson Walker is limited in any way. You guys aren't going to like it. You're going to call me a homer. I am picking Davidson in my personal bracket for this, so I'm picking them for this. Obviously, you guys have the power of 2. But my reasoning is because when I initially saw this, I was like, okay, total athletic mismatch, which I still think exists. Like the team speed from Michigan State is going to be noticeable, especially if the transition defense is bad. I wish I knew how good transition defense Davidson was. That would influence my pick a little bit, but they're one of the best shooting teams in the country, top 15, and they're a top 8 defensive rebounding team in the country. Their league's smaller, obviously, so it's going to be more of a challenge, but just knowing that there's some fundamentals of boxing out with this team. And the stunning thing to me that I didn't realize is that they are 44th tallest in the country, and Michigan State is 12th. So the height gap is not as big as I initially thought. Like their lineup, they have like sneaky tall guys in their lineup across the board. The only glaring person that's short on their team is Foster Loyer. And so I think I'm intrigued by that. And I think they're shooting solid. So I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be pretty close. I'm curious to see if Davidson goes zone at all. I think that might be huge for them. I don't know how much zone they play. I don't watch them play, but I think they might need to do that because I can't imagine Foster checking AJ one-on-one for lengthy minutes. I think they're going to have to go zone.
That was going to be my other thing. AJ Hoggard with Foster on him. No offense to Foster. AJ should dominate that matchup on offense. He's bigger, probably faster.
I don't know if they would put Foster on him.
I don't think
Hoggard,
it wouldn't be smart.
You would see Hoggard post up a little bit more recently. And that's what Foster got abused for when he was here at Michigan State. I could see Foster guarding Gabe Brown. Yes, it's an athletic mismatch, 100%.
Massive.
However, Gabe Brown also isn't the best offensively, like creating his own shot. He kind of feeds off of every other people, like kicks. When he does drive, it's kind of late in the shot clock. He's not doing it right away. So I feel like that could be a matchup. If Tyson Walker or Hoggard are on Foster, I'm not worried about it.
Also, this is per KenPom. I nerded out. I bought KenPom this year because I just couldn't stay away. Their most played lineup of the last 5 games isn't even Foster Loyer. He's like their second most used guy. They have Grant Huffman, who's a 6'3" point guard. So I don't think we're going to see Foster as much as we think.
In fairness, Foster has been injured recently, so he's been limited in minutes, and they kind of just use that same lineup they were using when he was out. But they also have a guy on the team. Oh, jeez.
Michael Jones.
I don't know which one it
I'm
is.
just ripping off names now.
There's one of them that plays a lot of minutes, and he doesn't overly shoot that much. He's kind of just out there.
Boyaki Yadam.
He's like number 23 or something, according to me watching the championship game.
Maybe I see a 32. Maybe it was a little dyslexia thing. I see a 32 that plays, and he does not shoot.
Be. Yeah,
he's
there he
6'8".
is.
Yeah,
from London, England. That might be another where you can kind of abuse that mismatch where he's not really going to affect that much offense. So you kind of are on 4-on-5 to an extent at times.
I think it's going to be a great game. You guys know my pick. Lay it on me. What do you guys got?
I think it's a good matchup for Michigan State, despite what a lot of people are saying. And so
Correct.
I think Michigan State is going to win. And it'll be a good game for a while, but I think that Michigan State is superior to Davidson. They could lose this game. I mean, it's the tournament, but I would, on paper, think that they're much better.
And who's the team MVP in a Michigan State win? Give that for both of you.
I'll just say whoever Evan doesn't, because I'm probably going to say the same people.
Michigan State. I got Michigan State
Just
winning.
one guy.
And team MVP, I think it's got to be Hogard.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
If he plays well, I think the team plays better, especially with Tyson Walker out. You never know. Tyson Walker could also play. You never know. But I think Hogard.
I think he'll give it a shot.
If he's not turning the ball over and we're getting an easy offense, I don't think there's any reason why we can't match up with him on defense.
I was going to say someone different, but the solution. I mean, come on. Did you see him against Purdue? The day after Evan wrote him off.
If it's not like a spark off the bench from Akins, and I think mine would be Bingham to be the other one. I think Bingham is going to have to block shots and have an impact like he did against Wisconsin. Like that 11-point stretch he had changed the Wisconsin game. So I think he's going to need that.
My only other thing, just really fast, I think of like a mid-major that's really good. And Marcus Bingham, when he played against Loyola Chicago earlier in the year, he had like 8 blocks in the first 5 minutes. So
yeah,
that Marcus Bingham, yeah, I can live with that.
I think you'll know pretty fast in this game if the athletic advantage will show up. Now for the 2:15 Duke, CS Fullerton, Duke.
18.5 point spread.
I'm taking whoever they're playing to cover. I can't really see CSU.
Fullerton, the Titans.
Really?
Orange and blue.
Wow.
I think they'll cover
All right,
18.5. Jesus.
No. Let's move down the bracket to the east. All right, you want to make it a little off-air action there. I got Duke by 20. We'll move down the bracket to the east quadrant. We'll start with Baylor. Oh, we don't have to do that. Baylor's on. North Carolina Marquette. What do we think here? I got UNC. It feels like everyone's on UNC.
I have UNC as well. They're 3.5 point favorites.
This feels like a classic one that Shaka Smart's going to win. He's like, oh, Shaka Smart in March again. And then we're going to like get that narrative back now that he's not at Texas anymore. But for now, I got North Carolina because like you went against Duke like that on their senior night. There's some grit to this team. 5-12, St. Mary's, Indiana. Could Indiana be the first 4 sleeper?
Hoosiers. Trace Jackson Davis is a man.
As much as I don't like them in their fan base, I got the Hoosiers because there has to be a
as much as they
first
played as
14.
bad as they did in the first half. When Trace Jackson steps onto the court, he is the best player on the court.
He is a boss.
With the worst haircut.
Yeah.
No.
And I also am pretty stubborn against St. Mary's. So
You are. You really
I'm never
are.
going to pick St. Mary's in the tournament. No chance.
Michigan State would skunk St. Mary's if they played right now in the first matchup.
Agreed.
Wow.
Michigan would also destroy them.
Well, UCLA, Akron.
Ookla.
I got UCLA.
UCLA.
Lock in that shot making.
Wow, UCLA, Indiana second round matchup. Blue Bloods coming back. I like that.
CBS loves that.
Yeah, they do.
That's a Jim Nance game
6-11.
for sure.
We got Texas, Virginia Tech.
Tech picked against Texas in the first round last year. Worked out for me. Picking against them
I
again.
have Texas. Ooh, yeah, Grant, you can be the deciding factor.
Virginia Tech is hot right now.
Virginia Tech.
Smart pick.
There's
Smart
always
guy.
a couple of teams that come in there super hot and they're fan favorites and they lose it. Chris Beard, I think he's going to rally the team. They're going to play solid defensively. It's going to be more low scoring than you
I
expect.
forgot Chris Beard, the tournament guy himself, is the coach of Texas.
Texas has more rest, I'll tell you that, because they
stay
lost their
with Virginia
first
Tech.
game. Ken Palm has it a 1-point game, so it should be tight.
It is a
But if
1-point game.
If you look at
betting favorites, betting odds.
Virginia Tech, I know the ACC is down, but we all know conference plays tough night in, night out. They've lost 2 games since Saturday, January 29th. They're on fuego.
Hot.
I mean, I have a side bet with Cheese in this one, and I just think of they were one good shot. Like they made a last second shot against Clemson before. They're not even be in this tournament. They never made that shot.
That is true.
But people forget
they have the Wofford point guard.
Storm Murphy. I saw that name. I was like, let's go. Let's shoot the lights out of the ball. We got Purdue and the nerds of Yale. Boiler up.
Purdue.
The hell he's got big eyes. Murray State, who just wins basketball games in San Francisco.
I'm all out on the WCC. Give me the Murray State Racers.
Yeah, let's hate the WCC.
No one hates the WCC more than my dad, though, so shout out you for that.
Really? Wow. He hates that conference.
He thinks Gonzaga is a joke.
So he needs Gonzaga.
They are a joke. They're overrated
won.
Every year. Tell me when you win something. Yes, I got Murray State as well.
I have Kentucky in the next game.
I have Kentucky in the next one.
Same. All right, boys. Let's
Battle
move
of Kentucky in the East.
We'll go to top right, the South. We have Arizona moving on. Seton Hall, TCU. This is the game I'm least looking forward to watching. I'd say there's no intrigue. This is the grossest
game of the entire tournament of seeds that are close to each other. I don't even know anything about either team. I'll go Seton Hall. Their uniforms are cooler.
I got the Hall. TCU is a fraud.
I wouldn't know.
I had TCU.
I think they were under 500 in the conference.
They might have been. I saw something about them. I was like, oh, they're gross. Let's go 5 seed Houston.
Oh, Grant, why don't you go first, Jared?
And 12 UAB. Why?
I want to see what you think.
Well, the thing about Houston is they are top 5 in KenPom, top 25. They've played not a single soul this year. They have 0 quad 1 wins. They're the biggest front runners in the country where they just beat up on bad teams and don't beat good teams. And if we forget about Final Four last year, they beat all double-digit seeds last year to get to the Final Four. It was the biggest cookie-cutter run in the history of the tournament. UAB and Jelly Walker are ramming it up the Cougs' butt this year. UAB.
I'll go Houston.
I got Houston. I'm not betting against Kelvin Sampson. I think they're too athletic. Yes, they don't play anybody. Play who's on your schedule.
Really good coach.
Yes, I got Houston.
Is he, though?
Well, he cheated at Indiana to get good, and now he's allowed to cheat legally for Houston. So
they just played ugly.
I won't
brand.
have Houston going far. Don't worry.
Oh, because
the Mocs against Illinois.
Yeah, 4-13.
Illinois.
I'm going to say this. I would not even be close to stunned if Illinois loses this game, but it's one of those things. It's 2 years in a row. Could they really have disappointments? They could because they're a puddle program that doesn't win anything. But I will take Illinois for the sake of sanity in this part of the bracket, but I would not be stunned.
I think Illinois blows them out.
I have Illinois as well. Chattanooga does have a really good guard. They have a good transfers coming in.
They have a Kansas
I'm blanking on the name.
Suja?
Nope. It's it starts with an M, last name. Doesn't really matter. But he is from Illinois. Illinois home team.
There was something about Chattanooga I wanted to find.
Their game winner.
I think Illinois' guards are too talented. Yeah, Granderson's been out. I don't know if he's going to play in this game, but I think Illinois is way too talented with their 3 guards.
Their center is also a former Division I transfer.
From Kansas.
DeSouza.
That was in the fight. Yeah.
Also, Brad Underwood in March, when he's not with Illinois, pretty good.
All right. Now another deep dive. Colorado State, 6.
No deep dive
Michigan,
here.
11.
Wolverines by 40.
So a lot of drama around this game. First and foremost, my Twitter video said, it was kind of joking just because it was funny to watch people freak out online. Michigan was a 10 seed in a lot of places going into the Big Ten tournament. So I thought the seeding of 11 was fine. I can see why people were hey, Indiana shouldn't have been in the first 4 because their metrics across the board were about the same as Michigan's. So I thought those 2 teams being 11 would have made sense. But here's the thing. Michigan, for what it looks like, they got a pretty nice 6 seed draw, but their 3 seed draw is really tough because a lot of people have Tennessee as a 2 seed, or it should have been a 2 seed. So it kind of balances itself out, is what I would say. I will say watching what Indiana did to Wyoming last night makes me feel a little bit better about Michigan's chances in the sense of like figuring out, is this Mountain West Conference legit? So that made me feel good.
No.
Oh, you're saying, okay. But the thing is like, and then today, last night, sorry, I stayed up a little bit too late again on Twitter before I go to bed, as a lot of us do. And I just see someone say Devontae Jones is out, ? I go, not this again. Same time of the year, same time of night when I found out Livers was going to miss the tournament. And it's just like, come on. Obviously the situation is different with Michigan, not expecting as much for them, but losing your point guard who was used in like almost every single play you run in a ball screen is going to be very tough. But then again, I was on the Frankie Collins bandwagon train from the beginning of the year. He hasn't got to play a lot because Devontae Jones has been really solid. It's a drop off, but I don't think it's a crushing drop off. By this point, Frankie Collins is basically a sophomore. His defense, the team's defense has improved, like seems to kind of get a boost when he's out there because he's much quicker than Devontae Jones. He's not a bully, in the lane, but a lot of times Devontae Jones will get beat off the dribble or, maybe be a step slow on a cut. That won't happen with Frankie Collins, but then again, it's like, is he going to have some more freshman turnovers on screens and whatnot? We will see. I
need something from you.
Okay. Lay it on
Ken
me.
Pom, where are these teams at?
Okay. Michigan is 32nd in the country, and Colorado State is 34th. So pretty tight. They're almost the same team, just different conferences. Like, so Michigan's offense is their strength, 19th in the country. Their defense is 90th. Colorado State's strength is their offense, 20th in the country, 86 defense. They are like the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other, but they play in different conferences. And their personnel is much different. So we know with Colorado State, they have this Roddy kid who I think was like third team All-American. Am I off there? I think he was. He's really good. He's going to score at least 25 points. You can bank that. It's just like where are the rest of their points going to come from? Their starting lineup, the lineup they play the most is a 6'8" center, 6'6" power forward who's Roddy, 6'5", 6 foot, 6 foot. So Michigan should have a height advantage because one of those guys is going to have to guard Musa Diabate, who's like 6'11" himself. I think this game is a game that Michigan can squeak out without Jones getting like a 30 bomb from Dickinson, or like if Houston gets hot, or Diabate. For Michigan to have any success in this March tournament, especially with Jones being out, they're going to need Diabate or Houston to have a Mitch McGarry like mini breakout, where it's like, okay, like this person is stepping up in March and making their shots. I hope it's Houston. He played really well against Indiana in the second half. He had 3 threes. So if you can get something like that, I think you can hold out and win this game with your size, because they have not seen a Hunter Dickinson or probably Musa Diabate player this year.
I think Dick's going for 20 in the first half, and then they're going to start doubling him, and he's just going to start. He's a good passer. He's going to find open guys. I think Michigan will hit shots, and I think it'll be close for a long time. And I think Michigan ultimately, despite their porous record, I think they're better than a Mountain West team that, they finished third? Did they even win their conference? Boise State won their conference. And they're the highest ranked of their conference? Makes no sense. I'm never picking the Mountain West against the Big Ten. It's never going to happen. Michigan.
I have Colorado State in my personal bracket. However, Grant gave some really good points of matchups, and I think somebody else will have to step up. I think Colorado State is going to double Dickinson right away, and just make somebody else try to beat him. I feel like Dickinson will still get his points, get up to his average eventually. He's pretty efficient from the free throw line. However, 6 seeds have a losing record against 11 seeds since 2010. Asterisks there. And also, this is the first game to start your whole March Madness experience. 12-15 Thursday,
travel
CBS.
Issues.
They're probably there now. I think the travel issues are over. I don't think that's really big of a factor. Yes, it's an asterisk. Michigan State fans like to poke fun of it, but they are college kids. I think if you showed up, tell them to show up tomorrow, they will get ready to play. I think it's going to be low scoring. I picked Colorado State in my personal bracket. I went a lot of chalk.
Evan, I think this is going to be a track meet. I think both these teams can't play defense to save their lives.
Yeah, I think it's going to be high scoring.
It might be high.
I also think it's
exciting.
going to be
fest.
like a poor shooting like effort. First game, 12 o'clock. Indianapolis gives advantage. I'll give Michigan the advantage.
All right.
So we move
we'll have
on.
Michigan. Moving on.
The Flaming Piss.
Tennessee.
What? That's a new one. Tennessee versus
Tennessee.
Longwood.
Team is hot, and I picked them to win the
Lengthy
SEC tournament, and I was
wood.
right.
Tennessee. Ohio State, Loyola Chicago. I got Sister Jean here, and I'm super confident about it.
I have Ohio State.
I'm incredibly confident in Ohio State to win.
Wow.
Incredibly. I think it's the most overlooked upset pick ever. No one's even considering Ohio State to win.
I'm seriously considering pushing through, but I don't know if I want to waste it.
I'm not.
Waste it on them.
I'm not
very
that
confident.
I think getting Kyle Young back, having a healthy Zed Key, will be beneficial for him. I also am with Alex. I don't go with the majority of picking upsets. I think Ohio State will win this. They do have the best player on the court when they play.
Liddell.
Shout out to Big Ten announcer, called him EJ Little when they were doing team introductions. So that's his name from here on out. I do like Ohio State, though.
I do want to say this. Both those guys are still game time decisions.
Are you pushing through?
No, because in order to win your bracket, you need to get the later rounds, like Final Four. So I might save it for that. I wouldn't have Loyola Chicago winning their next game, so it's not worth it to me. But I'm like, this is my like stone cold like first round like win would be Loyola Chicago winning this game.
Well, that's a really bad pick.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Tottenham won. Shout out Dr. Love.
Oh, Dr. Love. Here we go. We're talking about Tottenham.
Villanova, Delaware. I got Villanova.
Nova.
Delaware has a cool mascot though.
The Blue Hens.
Home with Joe Flacco.
Okay, Midwest here. Last little quadrant till we get to the next round. We have Kansas going. San Diego State, Creighton.
I got Creighton. San Diego State's dead to me based off of how they performed against Boise State.
I'm not picking a Mountain
Saturday.
West team. Creighton.
I got Creighton, and another sprinkle on that. San Diego State is likely going to be down a starter. He's not a huge player for them, but he's likely going to be out. So I got Creighton.
Razy, you knew that, but good for you.
Big East
I was in the
basketball.
weeds today on the injuries page, and donbest.com.
Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes,
Yeah,
Richmond.
Iowa.
I got Hawkeyes.
Best player in
Providence.
the field.
And the player he might be my favorite. He's my favorite player in college basketball. I love
Awesome
Keegan Murray.
guy.
Best robot
Really
out
good.
there. He's like reminds me of like Kawhi. I want him on the Pistons bad. Providence, South Dakota State.
Providence is a 2-point favorite right now.
I got South Dakota State, and it's not even
Providence.
close.
2-point favorite right now.
Providence is
South-
the
South Dakota
luckiest
State
team
by
in the
5.
entire country by statistical analysis.
They win,
Like
but they
what
win close
stats,
games.
Alex?
That's what it
They
means.
won the Big East. Come on.
The stat of being the luckiest team in the country, I don't know where it comes from. It's a real thing, and Providence is that
Ken
team.
Pom.
Yeah,
It just means like, do you win close games? It's not like do balls bounce your way. It's like it's the way he says you win close games, which is a good thing. Having a team that can win close games. They also were gifted the Big East because they lost to Villanova twice, but played less games and so got the numbers. Like they did not win the Big East. Villanova was the best team in the Big East. They just got it because they got swept by Villanova. Yeah,
I'm just saying they won
Hand
Big
up, I
East
watched
regular
more Butler
season.
than Grimes,
I saw the picture, so I just looked at it and was like, wow, they won Big East.
If you're about to lose to Butler at Madison Square Garden, which you should have, sorry Butler, for you handed that game away.
Some people are saying that's Hinkle East, bro. Dude, calm down. It's a tough place to play.
I'm not
you
picking
also
Providence.
you cannot read into the conference tourney like, dude. South Dakota State shoots 44% as a
is
team.
the Dominators? Is that his team?
Are you picking? No. You guys pick South Dakota State? Can we already move on?
Yeah, they haven't lost since December 20th.
That's my pick. Give me the 13.
They're disgusting.
Talk about
Any good
disgusting. The next game.
I don't think anybody's going to watch that game.
What game? I'm really excited.
The coachless Tigers and the under 500 Cyclones.
I want to see how LSU responds. They got a lot of athletes. They play really good defense.
So you got LSU.
Yes. I think it's like play for your interim situation.
I'll take Iowa State.
Iowa State had a negative conference record. I
Or
would never
their
pick a team that has a negative
McDonald's
conference record.
uniforms.
In my personal bracket, I have Iowa State. They are losers of 4 in a row. But
The
for
11
sake
is
of
better than the
this-
6.
Yes, true. There's going to be an 11 team will win this week. Okay, maybe
They're
2 of them.
four. They're 4
Probably all of
and
them.
They're 4 and 7 since February.
No,
1st.
not all
Iowa
of them,
State
Alex.
is.
Yeah, I'll take LSU. We'll see what happens. But most of those kids are going to transfer anyways after this year because they're going to get the death penalty, basically.
Then we got Wisconsin, my least favorite team in college basketball, versus Colgate. I have Colgate. They shoot the piss out of the ball.
You picked Colgate last year against Arkansas.
No, like Wisconsin very much. I would not even be stunned if they lose this basketball game.
I'll take the Fighting Johnny Davises.
I'll take the Fighting Johnny Davises
Wisconsin's
as well.
good in March, whether you like it or not. They've won a lot of games.
Yeah, Greg Gard's really been great.
I said Wisconsin. I didn't say Greg Gard.
Yeah, well, Bo Ryan ain't walking through that door.
I know you hate them, but put your bias aside. They're going to be Colgate.
Make a shot.
Yeah,
recently.
Neither could Purdue against us either until
I don't
the
think
end.
Johnny Davis. I don't think Johnny Davis is 100%. I'm just going to say that now.
Well, you don't know that, and it's also a home game.
Well, he doesn't have AJ Holgard strapping him, so it's okay.
The solution.
It is a home game. They're playing Milwaukee, bro. Yeah, that's Wisconsin by 100.
No. Well, we'll see. But they're in it for the sake of our bracket.
Miami.
USC, Miami. I got USC. They're way too tall.
Yeah.
Damn it.
My cousin plays on USC. Come on, Alex.
Who the f*** is your cousin?
Yep. It's an inside joke. You had to be there.
Okay. I got Auburn moving on. Past
Jacksonville State.
Yep. Stop. No, you don't. I have Auburn.
All
right. Top West.
Back
Gonzaga,
to the
Memphis.
West.
I got Gonzaga.
I don't have a filled-in graphic, so I don't know who's playing.
I'm filling it in as we go, Alex. Come on. Show your podcast integrity. I would not be shocked if Memphis won this game. I really wouldn't. I think
with Amani being on the team.
Yes, it does throw some things off. I would take Gonzaga for the sake of the podcast and for like the easier pick to not blow. For us to win first.
Fine. Then I'll just take Memphis for fun. And I won't push them through.
So Gonzaga's in. UConn, Arkansas, really cool matchup.
Should be the Catamounts.
Quick, so you guys kick us off here.
Should be the Catamounts.
UConn. I have Arkansas. UConn's dead to me in multiple occasions.
They're really good.
I feel they are not really good. They do have a lot of talent. Congrats. I think Arkansas is just as athletic as them. Arkansas plays at a better pace. I think UConn's almost too reliant on their center, and the half-court offense are too stagnant at times. I like Arkansas getting out and running.
I got UConn.
I still have UConn.
Sunogo is absolutely massive. And UConn plays like elite 2-point defense and the fifth best 2-point defense in the country. They
grind games out.
And Arkansas can't shoot threes. So if they can't shoot threes, I don't think they're scoring much this game. Thank you, Ken Pom. But stats don't play the games. So UConn playing Gonzaga. All right, we have Alabama, Texas Tech. Pretty good matchup here, I would say.
Gross, really. So much red.
I got Tech. But I had to think about this one for a while.
Sorry to fill out the whole bracket.
I could see either
way. Did we take Arkansas or UConn?
I got Alabama.
UConn. We took UConn, Alex. I'm on Tech. Evan's on Alabama, and you are the.
I was out on Alabama the first round, so Texas Tech.
Riding the number one defense. We'll see how that goes. Wow, Michigan State. Duke, what the committee would want. In my mind, it's Davidson Duke, but it's Michigan State Duke. I got Duke because I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State wasn't here. So for the sake of safety net, I'll take Duke.
Lame. I'll take Michigan State.
11.
It's my team. I'm going to pick them every time.
Oh, fairness. All right. You know what? I'm strictly going to go off of that mantra. I'm picking Michigan State.
Yeah.
Dude, don't make me do this.
Final Four rematch, baby.
All right, so this is where I have to think for the sake of our bracket. I think
you're going to push Duke? How gross.
No, I need to think do I think Duke is going to be in the Final Four this year? Because if I do, then I would need to push them through to get them there.
It would make me feel better.
That's the only reason I picked Michigan State, because I don't think Duke's going to the Final Four.
All right, I'll give the side of this little breakdown because... Wait. What? I didn't say anything.
I just felt like it was trending in the direction I wanted.
No, I'm just going to give a little breakdown of what Duke is. So for people that listen, they're like, okay, two fans just picked Michigan State. Duke's lineup 6'5", 6'4", 6'6", 6'10", 7 foot. I mean, they're massive. They're athletic. They spread the ball around. They're not just super reliant on one guy.
Play terrible defense.
They play the 44th best defense in the country, 7th best offense in the country.
150th in the last month.
They shoot really well. They don't turn the ball over. They have
gave up 100 to North Carolina at home.
Three losses since January 22nd, and the narrative has really shifted this last month, I would say, based on the loss to North Carolina. It was like one of the more talked about things this year, and then losing to Virginia Tech in the final. I'm going to throw that out the window. I think they are going to rally for Coach
State.
K.
They lost to Miami
in November. I think it's a slam dunk Duke, but I don't think it's worth a push through because I do not think Duke is making the Final Four this year. I do think they are a lock for the Sweet 16.
Number 7 seeds have won 8 of the last 13.
Alex, you can just say you're a Michigan State fan. Like that's all you have to say.
I think they can win.
Totally fair.
I really believe they could win.
I think
Davidson could win.
Yeah. Yeah. So Michigan State, then we'll have going through because I don't think it's worth it here. Bottom, right? East?
Baylor, North Carolina.
Baylor, North Carolina.
Baylor.
I have North Carolina in this. Similar to Houston, I think their year was last year. They have a lot of injury problems on their team. And North Carolina, they have a lot of talent. I recognize all the names. They've been there a while. And I liked how they played against Duke in that one game that drew a lot of weight. And I just think, I don't know. I mean, when I watched them play Michigan, they destroyed Michigan. Like, I know that they're ceiling. So I like North Carolina because I think Baylor's a little susceptible.
In my current bracket, I have North Carolina. But, I think a lot of people are picking against Baylor. They are the defending national champions. They do have injuries, but they're still very good. So I side with Baylor.
Alex, come on. I don't have North Carolina going to the Final Four, so I will not push that through. Baylor's also best player is questionable to play in this tournament, so that's a big factor.
I'm hoping he's ready by the 8th seed.
And they have a big bench piece that's already out. But anyways, Indiana, UCLA battle of the Blue Bloods. I have UCLA beating Indiana because UCLA is also a gritty type team, and we know they've been there before.
I have UCLA. I think offense would be too much. UCLA can just get into a track meet and score better, more efficiently, and they have better scorers all over the court. I got UCLA.
I guess me too.
Well, you can still make your point if you just realize the beauty
I
of
think
it.
Indiana can easily win this game, and I probably would pick them, but it's not a push through for me. So,
all right,
UCLA on,
which is good for record keeping purposes when we cut some clips.
Yeah.
Purdue, Virginia Tech, 3 versus 11 here. I got Purdue, just because they got to make the Sweet 16. Probably a little bit more often with the talent they have. Murray State, Kentucky, the Battle of Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I have Kentucky. It would be a fantastic game to watch. I think with
Wichita State, Kentucky-esque.
Yeah, with the transfer from Kansas, I think it can match up with Sheboy, but Sheboy's too much. I think talent overall on Kentucky's just going to reign superior. So,
yeah, Murray State might have a really sweet first half, just playing out of their minds, and then I feel like Kentucky settles in. Top of the South, Arizona, Seton Hall. I got the Wildcats.
Arizona's a wagon.
I have chalk for all the higher seeds in this bracket or the rest of the game, so I got Arizona.
I do have Illinois, Tennessee, the next two as well.
I got Illinois as well. I got Tennessee as well. A little brief spin-off here. Matchup. Brief spin-off here is just that this team, Michigan, as in this team, since, I don't know, for the last 8 to 10 games, has gone win-loss, 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 win-loss. They've never beat 2 tournament-level teams in a row this whole year. So I just don't see it happening in this, especially with questions around Devontae Jones. The biggest factor here is Tennessee plays strap defense, and when a team does that, Michigan's offense isn't good enough to overcome said strapping defense, in my opinion. And unless their defense really cranks it up, then they won't be able to survive it. Tennessee has really good guard play too, so Tennessee. Villanova, Ohio State. I got Nova.
I have Nova. Villanova's going to just fundamental you to death, and
yeah,
I
Great
think
tournament team.
Ohio State's too streaky offensively here and there. Where I
don't love that we're 1 through 4 there, but it's okay.
I mean, Villanova's just been like an absolute wagon this year quietly, and they have one of the most senior left guards in the country.
Except they can't beat Marquette.
Alex, like what? Yeah, true. They did lose to them twice, but like what big major teams? Like they lost like 3 times since Christmas.
I'm just surprised that this wagon you speak of can't beat Marquette.
Well, good thing they're on opposite sides of the bracket.
Good thing North Carolina took care of them.
They're battle tested. Yeah, true.
Kansas.
I got Kansas versus Crane. I got Kansas.
Yep.
Hawkeyes.
Iowa, South Dakota State.
I
wouldn't be stunned. I would not be stunned if South Dakota State won this game. It's not worth the push through. But this is just where I remind everyone that Fran McCaffrey has never made a Sweet 16. So this would be new for Fran. So I would not be stunned at all, especially because South Dakota State can shoot the lights out of the ball. This could just be a 3-point fest. I would take Iowa just because they've been hot. And this feels like Fran McCaffrey's team to finally make a Sweet 16.
Keegan Murray.
LSU. We have LSU, Wisconsin here.
Yeah, I
have LSU.
I got the Badgers.
I got the Tigers because I think it's probably going to be
still
cold
a home
anyways.
game in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I have Wisconsin as well, home game advantage, and I think Wisconsin's more efficiently. Don't turn the ball over as much. Johnny Davis is the best player on the court, and somehow I feel like Brad Davison will win Wisconsin one of these games. And I can feel like
I think Brad's going to play well in the tournament.
Yeah,
he should. He's been there 25 years, and it's probably his last one, unless he can find another loophole to come back. All right, so we have that. I will not push that through because I do not think LSU will go like any farther than that. USC Auburn, the tall trees of USC versus the speed and also tall trees of Auburn.
Well, I thought Miami was going to be here.
I have Auburn.
I thought Miami was going to beat Auburn. But I'll take Auburn.
That's Alex's little teaser of the weekend. Is Miami's going to beat Auburn?
Auburn in. We are to the Sweet 16. Ooh,
we have
another chalky region.
Gonzaga, UConn.
Now this is what a region's going to look like. A 7 in there.
I got Gonzaga in this game.
1-5 seed almost always, or higher, always makes the Final Four. So you're going to have to find one in this bottom of this bracket for us to be successful.
You don't have to do that.
No, you do. Because you
don't.
That's what history tells us.
Sure, but there's also been times when the 5s don't make it.
It's very rare. We went through it. I want to pick UConn. Mm-hmm. I do. I do bad. I go Gonzaga.
I'll go Gonzaga in the point of UConn's center.
Sonogo.
Yep, there you go. He's not really like a perimeter guy effect, so you don't really have to worry about Timmy getting in too many ball screen defenses. We're drawing him away where he's a liability on defense. So I'll take Gonzaga.
I think it is a bad matchup for Gonzaga, though, compared to Arkansas.
How so?
It's a worse matchup just because of UConn's defensive style. Reminds me of how Baylor played against Gonzaga in the national championship last year. So I think it could cost them fits versus Arkansas, who's just going to run, and that's what Gonzaga likes to do.
Got it. So we have Gonzaga there, and then we have Texas Tech, Michigan State here.
Are we going to do it again?
My OG pick was Duke here. I would have had Duke beating Tech, but in this case, I'll go Tech to hedge.
Trying to think of a team Michigan State played this year that's similar to them. Can't really think of one. So I really don't know.
Maybe like in Illinois, because they just play a unique style of defense, and no, I don't think any Big Ten teams were like clamps on D. The Big Ten was like bad at D.
Loyola Chicago.
They're pretty good D, but they're not the same athlete. UConn, good example. Won that game.
UConn's is 36th best defense in the country. UConn is like,
but they have good length
in the Wisconsin bracket.
What's Texas Tech at again?
1. They're the best defense in the country.
Then Texas Tech's beating Michigan State if they're the first best defense.
Yeah, they hold teams to 60 points a game. Yeah. in the rematch, Texas Tech.
Which sets up a Gonzaga Texas Tech rematch. Ooh. It's almost like the committee knows what they're
chalky
doing.
region.
Chalk here should be
I got
North
the
Carolina
Bears.
versus UCLA. This is tough because I
Of
handicapped
the Bruin
this.
variety.
I handed this for North Carolina. I had
UCLA.
I had UCLA beating North Carolina, so I'll go UCLA beating Baylor.
I like
Right, you didn't-
UCLA as well.
You didn't think my bear reference was funny? Evan did.
No, because it was, but my brain was thinking about like what back to my bracket and trying to like figure out what I was going to say.
UCLA.
UCLA. Evan, you had UCLA too?
Yep.
Kentucky, Purdue. I think this will be a fantastic game. I like the Cats to win this.
I like the
Purdue's-
Cats as well. Matt Painter's always overrated.
Are we going to push through at all in this bracket?
Oh, it's coming probably.
It will eventually show up. I like Kentucky in this. Purdue's too streaky. They say they're really efficient on offense, but the games that I've watched are really not that efficient. I think they kind of front-runted like their stats at the beginning of the year. Bad teams. If you get a solid defensive team, Tshiebwe is an animal on the boards. Edey doesn't play enough minutes to be that big of a factor. Yes, Ivy will be interesting to watch against actually top-tier talents, but I still like Kentucky.
100% agree with what you said. I think Tshiebwe is like a good counter for Edey. Purdue's the third best offense. Kentucky's the fourth, but you look at Kentucky's defense is 25th and Purdue's is 99th. And I just think that defense will finally catch up with them in this game and they won't be able to stop anything.
99th? Jeez. If Virginia Tech gets hot from three, then they can definitely beat Purdue.
I mean, the opponent points per game is only a 2-point difference, despite the ranking difference. But
Yeah, but that's factoring in all the poopy teams they played.
yeah, I think it's going to be really close. I think Purdue matches up well.
Pick them then. I dare you.
But-
Push it through. Go ahead.
If you push them through, I'd have to push through your push through.
You can't do that.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I think I would have to.
Oh, behave.
Kentucky.
We would just blow all of our push throughs and that would be sitting there with the last chip.
But you can't do that going forward.
No, I think you should be able to. I love that drama. I think that'd be a great clip of two guys just going at me like, no, you're push through. No, I'm pushing
Arizona,
through. You're
Illinois,
push
the
through.
Illinois.
Whoa.
Arizona for sure.
Whoa, I didn't know.
Confident,
I'd have a decision here.
confident Arizona.
Confident in Illinois.
Wow.
Really, Evan?
Is this a push through for you, Evan?
Illinois
Can't
just
you, Evan?
gotta get past the
No, they
first
don't.
weekend.
No, they're
Their guards
cheeks.
are so talented, and Trent Frazier can
But they
take over
did.
any game he wants. Any game he wants.
Aren't they? Yeah. They're in the Sweet 16 in this matchup. They already
gotta get-
accomplished their goal.
Correct. They got to get there, and then as soon as they do that, I can see them making a Final Four. They have all the talent, they have all the depth, and they have all the length. And then they also have the one person that is a matchup nightmare against any team that they face. Yes, Arizona is one of the top overall teams in the country. Nobody watches enough Arizona basketball this year because they play in the Pac-12. They have NBA talent on their team. Illinois has NBA talent on their team. But I think when push comes to shove, I think Illinois will just grit it out more.
I mean, these teams
No way.
did play each other. It's hard to beat a team 2 times in a row.
Arizona is...
Illinois. Everyone's picking Arizona. Illinois.
All right, then this is the push through. Then it has to be.
Yeah,
Arizona's like
waste
going to
it.
just mollywop. Yeah.
Waste it.
Arizona's for sure beating Illinois.
For sure? You want to bet?
Yes.
Okay, if that
Yeah,
game happens,
I
I'll
will-
bet you with it.
All right. Arizona is a wagon.
I have Tennessee against
They
Villanova.
have the Kofi stopper. They're 7'1", 6'11", 6'7", 6'6".
Height's not
NBA
everything,
Lotto pick
Grant.
6'6", 6'4". Yeah, but you have to be able to match up with Kofi. They have a sharpshooter in Benedict Mathurin. He's insane. I've watched this team with my eyeballs. They are a length personified.
him in November.
And watching Illinois,
I saw
they're
Arizona
just
get
not-
housed by Tennessee.
Illinois just there's something about Illinois when Curbelo came back where there's just the vibe is not right. Curbelo tries to make it about him every game, and he either does something amazing or just absolutely terrible. And I just don't think you want that. And Arizona has a much better coach now because they finally plucked someone from Gonzaga. They don't have sweaty Sean Miller out there, so it's Arizona's going to make a nice run in this tournament. And I have to put them there.
What if I just push
wasting it,
through
but
your push through?
You can, yeah.
And then
Shoot
I
it.
top it, and we just all use our same push through in the same game.
Yeah,
But
do
Evan,
it.
I'm not going to. I don't care that much.
I like that you don't have yours.
Okay, Alex, who'd you pick in this one?
Tennessee.
I
you
got
have to
Villanova.
remember this.
Orange.
Guys, we were on the same team. We're trying to win. We're trying to
No,
win this
no.
bracket.
Our egos
trying
are
to-
getting in our own way of what we're
Yeah, I
actually
know.
trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, maybe
No,
we
no.
should restart. All right, let's restart the bracket. I
Tennessee,
forgot what the
Villanova.
goal was.
Tennessee, Villanova. Well, I guess you can always just win it with your own personal one, and there's the ego trip. But Tennessee, Villanova, I have Villanova in this.
Push through, Tennessee. Push through.
Oh,
That's my team.
You're riding the hot hand. You watch Tennessee all week, and you're like, "Yeah, this is my love team."
I liked
This
him
is it.
before the SEC tournament.
No, you
These are my
didn't.
guys.
You're lying.
I said it on our podcast last week.
Who's the
They're
head coach of
hottest
Tennessee?
team.
Who's the head coach of Tennessee?
Come on, Evan. I know
Who
that.
is it? Who is
I
it?
can see his
Who
face.
is it? You
Oh
don't
my
even
God, you
know.
don't even know.
I'm
You're
actually
such a
blanking. I'm
You're a
blanking. I'm blanking.
You're such a fraud. Because if you knew, it's one of the
Rick
worst
Barnes.
NCAA
Rick
tournaments.
Barnes. It's Rick
Yeah,
Barnes.
one of the worst.
Holy
One
shit!
of
Look
I
it
almost
up. Look it up.
forgot.
Type it into your computer real quick.
One of the historical bad NCAA tournament coaches in history. Yeah, back in
Tennessee.
that guy should push through.
Push through.
He also just forgets that like Villanova won their conference tournament too. It's
Yeah.
like, what are we doing?
I'm not based
Jay
on
Wright's
guys.
one of the best coaches, in,
Guys.
regardless of.
Yeah, Jay Wright
Is
due
Tennessee
for
a bad
lot.
team? They have
No,
a better
they're-
defense than Villanova. They score more points.
Yeah, but their offense is just poopy.
Their offense is poopy.
Poopy. Shut
Yes,
poopy.
correct. Their offense is
Tennessee's
poopy.
offense is poopy.
Yes,
That
correct.
scores
Alex.
more points than Villanova's.
It's not. It's not about that. It's not
It's not just about
'cause
scoring
then
more points, it's efficiency.
Because then you're looking about all their November stats.
Hard to beat a
too,
team
bro.
twice.
Oh my God, that is the most overused phrase. Yeah, Tennessee is the 36th best offense in the country.
Should be a matchup of orange teams in the Elite Eight.
It's going to be Villanova for sure. But whatever.
For sure. Villanova's
yeah, no,
losing in
I'll-
the second game.
When this game comes to, I'll circle back and we can make some handshake
You're
agreements
just-
as well.
You're just going to make clips for all and Evan and I's wrong answers, and you're not going to make any clips for all your garbage ones.
That's not true. I'll clip it.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
If something happens, you just send me a text like, "Hey Grant, remember we talked about that? I want you to clip it." I will.
I fill out a bracket and I hate every single pick that I made on it, so I won't feel bad for my hot takes.
Kansas,
All right,
Iowa.
probably gonna be Kansas, Iowa. I got Kansas. This is where Iowa's defense catches up to them. 78th in the country.
Ken Palm sweat.
I like Kansas solely in the fact that depth-wise for Kansas, they have one solid post player, but
They got
depth.
two. They got McCormick and Ajabi is kind of like a wing guard, but like who on Iowa's guarding those guys?
Like
Not a
big,
big
like
person.
big body. Like think of Kansas, like big body. McCormick isn't like the guy that you're like, okay, he's going to score 25 points against our team.
He's not Azubuike.
He's nice though.
He is not Azubuike. He's not
He's
Embiid.
nice.
I don't think he's that good. And where
I think
Iowa's defense can catch up, and Iowa doesn't throw the ball into the point. They're a perimeter team. They're a jack up three team. And I feel like this is where it catches up. I'll take Kansas.
I do think Iowa's the best team in the Big Ten going into this tournament, and the best chance of a Big Ten team to go to the Final Four. I don't know.
use
Push
it.
through.
Use it.
I don't have
Already
a push
did.
through. Kansas.
Would you? Oh, use it against Tennessee.
Yeah. Kansas is in. Yeah, Iowa
And
in
also,
like their
Fred
draw.
McCaffrey's just a so I'm not picking with him.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to throw a celebration in Iowa from them making the Sweet 16 for the first time under him. Like they're not going, and they're the sexy pick, and a lot of times the sexy
are.
pick doesn't work out. But then we have Wisconsin, Auburn. I had to change it from LSU because I had LSU down there in my personal one. So we have Wisconsin, Auburn. So then Auburn. This is a curb stomp, in my opinion.
I have Auburn. You know, the trendy pick is Wisconsin because slower team offensively can like impact the game more.
Slow down the game. Auburn
Yes.
hasn't been playing very well lately.
Like when Wisconsin slows it down and gets in a shootout with Colgate and loses round one.
And Auburn will have a
Fired.
cakewalk. Jabari Smith, I think he's going to start proving it. I think Bruce Pearl will start changing his offensive scheme, quit getting the ball out of his guard's hands, get it to Jabari Smith more. Little 2-game action with Walker Kessler. I think that can get him through the tournament.
Auburn.
Is that what you think, though? You like Wisconsin?
I think it's going to be really, really close, low scoring that I could totally see Brad Davidson hit a couple ice free throws.
You had Purdue, you had Wisconsin and Iowa, you had Illinois and Michigan
I think the Big
State.
Ten bounces back after a really bad showing.
I don't think there's any way, Wisconsin controls the tempo in a game like this. I think Auburn's way too stubborn and athletic to
Auburn also
let
takes
themselves get lulled.
awful shots. awful.
Okay.
They are just ISO, pull-up, brick city, three-pointers.
So does Brad Davidson. I watched him try to play hero ball in the men's Michigan State game, and he jacked up a heat check that was disgusting.
Okay, he had hit 2 threes right before
He just
that,
blew to the crowd like the game was over after he hit one of them, and they lost like a bunch of losers.
I always watch you tell me every year how great the SEC is, and then it just doesn't happen.
I only have Auburn.
You just tell me
in
every
Kentucky.
year how
I faded
awesome
Tennessee.
the SEC is.
They're the most fun to watch because they play the most loose brand of basketball.
Because they don't play defense. Auburn, next. Gonzaga, Texas Tech.
Gonzaga, Texas Tech.
Zach.
Didn't anticipate this matchup. I will take Gonzaga.
And if it were to be Duke, Gonzaga.
As a revenge.
Gonzaga.
I would still take Gonzaga.
Everything about Gonzaga, but I mean, I'll pick them. I think their offense can carry them against Texas Tech if that was the matchup. I don't know how efficient Texas Tech is on offense, but I don't think they can put Timmy in that bad of situations.
I think the sneakiest thing for Gonzaga, the biggest question is like their guard play, because like Suggs was the guy last year. Nembhard is very good. I like Nembhard a lot. I'm curious to see how the guard backcourt is, because the whole phrase guards in March. So I am interested to see if that trips them up. Maybe against UConn. Maybe they're out against UConn. Who knows?
We've got the chalkiest Final Four ever.
Alex hates it.
It's just it's gross.
South. UCLA, Kentucky 4 versus 2.
Kentucky.
I got Kentucky.
Push through UCLA.
I don't hate it. I love to see a 4 in the Final Four.
Oh no.
I mean, Grant, you're way too
more
in on Kentucky. I mean, you're obsessed with them. Maybe because you're a fan of their team.
No, a little like just you can use this for your knowledge in our bracket. Kentucky is my national championship in the Grant shot of MS bracket. They're winning it all this year.
Oh, cool.
They finally got the most experienced team under Coach Cal, and they're just ready to rock. They got the player of the year in Sheboy, and they're ready to just run through this tournament. Their toughest game is going to be Murray State, probably. Just got to get through that. So UCLA back-to-back Final Fours. That just makes me nervous.
That's the only reason.
Same with Gonzaga. Like, you really think it's Gonzaga and UCLA?
2009, 2010, they can do it. Wisconsin did it in 2014.
Butler did it.
Wisconsin did it in 2014, 2015.
UCLA.
You act like UCLA is a bad team.
Florida did it.
No, but UCLA, I could easily, like we said, I guess it makes me nervous. I could see UCLA easily losing to Indiana, and then we're just like,
yeah, that would suck.
Arizona and Tennessee.
Arizona.
Well, you know where I lean.
Tennessee.
So you guys just put Arizona into the Final Four.
I got
Zona. I think Zona's overall like offense and defense is just
hard to beat a
good.
team twice. I can see your argument.
Where are they at?
There.
They're in the South. Ooh, South region. Where's the South region played at? Where's
San
that game played
Antonio, Texas.
Kind of halfway in between. I'll give
definitely closer for Arizona.
I don't want Arizona in my finals. But this is for the bracket for the podcaste's sake. I'm going to go with Grant. He thinks Arizona's good. Hard to beat a team twice, Alex.
I
hard to beat a team twice.
That's a fair argument.
Take a drink every time you hear that.
So I'll pick Arizona.
Kansas. Auburn's not even going to be in this.
Auburn, the game's not even going to be close.
It's like Family Feud.
Auburn's not even going to be here. Neither is Kansas.
Auburn will be here, and Auburn won't.
This is a Big Ten
possibly.
Elite Eight.
Stop it. I have Auburn beating Kansas because of what I said earlier. Their post presence isn't there enough, and I think Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler can be a mismatch.
Auburn plays
Kansas.
Offense.
Let me double check.
You don't like
quick.
fun?
I don't think it works in the
not
tournament.
2005. You don't have to have 4 post players on the court at the same time.
I don't need that, but I don't need just ISO pull up for 3. But I guess UCLA did it last year and it worked. So what do I know?
Ooh, does Bill Self go back to another Final Four? It's Bruce Pearl.
Bruce Pearl also.
This is the toughest game I've had to look at because now I know, and so did Self. He did the year before, so this is tough. Ooh. So I'm going to walk this through because I'm really stuck now. I'm in the deciding factor because all the push-throughs are gone. So Kansas has the 6th best offense, 28 defense. They won probably the second or top toughest conference in the country. Both of them, right? They won the tournament and the regular season. 6-28.
Baylor tied with the regular season with them.
Got it.
Big
6-28.
the best conference in the country?
I said first or second.
Also,
Kansas
if this
6,
helps,
defense 28.
Big 12 has had a representative in the Final Four in 8 the last 10 years, 8 the last 12 years, something like that. Something ridiculous.
It's a good stat. Auburn is 24th offense, 8th defense.
The number 1 versus the number 2
My gut
says to take 30.
My gut says to take the offense in this. I'm going to take Kansas. I'm going to take a team that's been good on offense.
Great pick. Could
I feel
not
terrible
see that
about it.
Auburn Tigers in my Final Four.
I was probably going to drop a hundo on their head and we're going to look like idiots. But,
Well, right. This is a Big Ten Elite Eight that we are overlooking.
So we got the Bluey Blood City, or modern Blue Bloods 1-4, 1-1 in the Final Four. Ugh, this just looks so gross. You know who's missing from this Final Four? I mean, is Kentucky is missing from this Final Four.
Sorry.
Well, Evan picked UCLA, so I don't think he thinks that.
Why do you think I just... Alex, can you just get with the program, man?
Start giggling, Alex.
I'm just so sick of Grant's SEC bias, but he didn't go with it there, so thank God.
Dude, I went against... You're only mad because I went against your team, Tennessee. I went against
pretty much
other teams, too.
You said Loyola Chicago is the lock of the first round. You've said some ridiculous things.
They are. They are my lock. Why can't I say that? I
South
can
Dakota
be wrong.
State over Providence is a no-brainer.
Are you just mad because I say
LSU without a coach,
aggressive things, and you just
Colgate
toe the line
over
and everything?
Wisconsin? I haven't toed the line. I've picked pretty much every underdog.
You just toe the line all the time.
I try to pick Miami, try to pick Wisconsin, try to pick Iowa. No one lets me. Let's get to the finals.
You're a Big Ten slap.
Well, it's the most basketball I watch, as it should be.
Just other conferences out there. Gonzaga, UCLA.
UCLA.
Hard to beat a team twice.
Won't even be close.
UCLA.
All right. I had Gonzaga, but I guess we got UCLA going to the final.
They're going to put Timmy on skates again like Timmy got put on in Baylor.
We have Arizona, Kansas on the other side. Double ones. 3 1s and a 4 for the Final Four for those
which will not happen.
No, probably not. The odds are probably small of that happening, Alex.
I'm going to pick Arizona because I don't like Kansas. I don't think they'll make it. So I'll pick Arizona.
I can't see a Pac-12 final. So I got Kansas.
I got Arizona.
Ooh, Pac-12 final. Bill Walton's wet dream right here.
2 Pac-12 teams in our... How did we get to this point?
We all were really worried about our own egos.
Yep. I got Arizona because I guess if it's not Kentucky, it's Arizona. I just think they have the most skill outside of that team.
Lame. They played each other like 5 times. They've played 3 times this year already.
So Arizona is our national champion.
I haven't picked. Oh, you guys
haven't picked Arizona.
Come on, dude. They're going to beat them 3 out of 4 times.
They do have the 5th best offense and the 20th best defense. You just got to get up for... They've only lost twice since January 3rd. I mean, Arizona's a wagon.
Arizona. Wow. This is the worst bracket I've ever seen.
That hasn't happened, I feel like, in a long time, so I guess that's a good change-up. Right? Because they haven't won, like, forever. So that's cool, I guess. Anyone have a final score they love? Is it going to be higher or lower score? I guess we can,
higher scoring, higher. I guess
we can just. Why don't we just go off their previous meetings?
78-70.
84-76 is their most recent meeting. 76-66, 75-59.
78-70.
What do you think, Evan?
I had 83-80. But I'm open to anything.
A lot of points.
What if we go...
I like a lot of points.
70... What if we go 80-74? Kind of split the middle.
Deal.
A late 3 to get to 74.
Okay. Sure. It probably will be a tight game, right? If these guys have played each other 4 times.
No.
They know what cologne each other wear.
This game won't even happen. But didn't we predict the national championship last year correctly? And the winner?
Yeah. That's why we won. That's how you win bracket pools.
Yeah, last year was the easiest bracket to fill out of all time in terms of the ending.
Well, it says, congratulations, your picks have been saved. I picked Arizona to cut down the Nets in New Orleans.
I got to change my personal bracket.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because I have Arizona winning.
Oh, wow. A little insider knowledge. Trying to win it for yourself.
That's always
I will
the goal.
say, the beauty of this is that, like, if I wasn't already jazzed for March Madness, I am now, because now all of our egos in play, and we said a lot of just aggressive things about what we think is going to happen. It's just going to be fun to pull the tapes.
Well, what's going to be great is, like, 3 of our Final Four teams lose in the first weekend, and then we're totally effed. And we're all just drastically wrong. And, you know, there's going to be a 5 or higher in the Final Four. It's almost a guarantee. And we don't even have one.
We have a 4 or higher. That's basically the same
There's going to
thing.
be a double-digit seed in the round of 30, in the Sweet 16. Do we have one? I don't think so.
I don't.
I mean, Michigan State is going to be in the Sweet 16. The problem is we didn't take them far enough.
That's your overarching.
If you clip that, I was just joking. Because they're going to win the title.
I usually last year I told people to just copy and paste what we did. I'm not sure if I feel as good about it this year.
I feel terrible about our bracket.
Year 2 was a little different.
Come on, Alex. Where's the fun in that?
You feel good about it, Evan.
I don't like this tournament. I do not. I don't like. There's no favorites. It's no easy chalk.
Oh my God.
So I'm picking chalk. I'm picking chalk in my own tournament bracket. Because higher seeds usually always prevail.
Well, that's just usually not true.
Yeah, it is. There's usually higher seeds in the
one seed usually wins.
You're so skewed by just 1-5 making it or higher every year, and thinking that the ones never make the Final Four.
No. The ones always win. There's always a 1 in the national championship.
And usually at least 2 ones make the Final Four.
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool with having 2 1s in the Final Four. As
We
will
have 3,
in my own bracket.
so we're gonna have at least 2 teams in the Final Four.
Yeah, but we needed a 5 or higher. We just really did.
And I think the team we picked, I think it's all about the champion. I think the team we picked is top 3 team to win it all this year. So I think that's good.
Yeah, but how many other people are going to pick them?
95% of America.
And then
they're not going to be the most. No, I can tell you.
They're the
ESPN
second
has
most
that. It's
picked.
pretty.
Who's picked whom?
They're the second, but at 13%.
So
That's
in our bracket pool,
nice.
when our egos ruined all our other games, but we get the national champion right, we're not going to win.
We are different, though. We went out on a limb on UCLA, so that could help us, Evan, because
could be huge if they don't lose to Indiana.
A lot of people have Kentucky. The most popular Final Four is Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas, Kentucky.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because Baylor's injured.
And then Baylor's next, so we're fading Baylor, so that's good.
Did we pick North Carolina over Baylor? Sorry.
No.
Way off topic.
But we have them, but they're losing next. So.
Well, can't wait to watch the Wolverines at noon tomorrow.
I was thinking about our override, so just for the record, it's crazy that the Arizona pick ended up being our champion. That's wild.
Who
so that was
overrode
a huge, I did. I took Arizona over Illinois.
Oh.
In
You're
Arizona,
gonna regret that one.
That's the most. I would say that's the most impactful override we've had in 2 years. That the team we overrode won the national championship.
But Evan had the most important override because it landed.
Evan had UCLA. Right. Evan had UCLA over Kentucky.
Oklahoma State over Illinois last year, and Illinois lost to Louisville, Chicago. So you're welcome.
Alex, your override was Tennessee.
Tennessee over Nova.
Over Nova. All right. So those are our 3.
Yeah, mine's the best, clearly.
Sure. All right. Our very last thing here, just maybe 5 to 10 minutes on it. The Lions free agency recap. You guys want to sing it with me on 3?
Sharknado.
1, 2, 3.
No, I'm not singing that. Stop. I'll mute you.
DJ
I'll start muting
Shark
you.
Muted. DJ Shark DJ Shark DJ Shark.
Just nod your head when you're done.
This guy, the guy I wanted, feels fantastic when you want a guy and they go get it. Fast, long, tall. That's what I wrote down. 3 adjectives to describe this man. Ran like a 4.3 40. Absolute freak athlete. You know what this is? You know what the signing is? This is Marvin Bagley to the Pistons is what this is. Taking a chance on a guy who was a big name, big prospect, had a little flashes.
So DJ Chark had like a really good season before.
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley.
So even better. Even better than Marvin Bagley.
He's better than Marvin Bagley. I think that was a rude comparison.
Even better.
A better comparison would be someone that's injured all the time but has a lot of talent. So if you guys could come up with someone, that'd be great.
No. For the fact checking people out there, Alex said, didn't he tear 2 ACLs? He's torn 0 ACLs. He broke his ankle last year. For the doctors. But breaks better than a sprain. We know that. I think, from a rap song.
If you can find the rest of the bones.
Any other thoughts you guys have on Lions free agency? I mean, it was a win once we got DJ Chark.
I was looking at the salary cap, the dead cap. See you later, Trey Flowers. Wouldn't want to be there's like $10 million though dead cap there. I was looking at we still have one of the worst rosters overall, talent wise.
We didn't get better.
Still don't have a lot of money in cap, and I just don't understand how some teams do it. It's infuriating to me. Once we get Goff off the books, Taylor Decker needs to be get him off the books. He's not worth $19 million a year. I'm sorry, not worth $19 million a year. Vitae, you are not worth what we would say $4 million.
Oh, that's a BQ situation.
Correct. And then fan favorite Charles Harris. He works hard. He had 7 sacks last year, but 3 of them came against Atlanta, and Atlanta's offense was horrendous. So there's an asterisk there. I think $7 million for a backup potential third string defensive end is a way too much. I do like the Tracy Walker signing. DJ Chark, I'm not upset about it. We got a wide receiver. Miss out on Marcus Williams, but I think the money was too far, and I don't think he wants to sit through a rebuild. I think a rebuild is going to take longer than some people think based off our cap situation.
That contract was too fat.
You wanted that Mike McDonald defense in Baltimore. Is what
Afterward.
College football playoff defensive coordinator Mike McDonald.
We did get 3 more picks because of the compensation, so we do have 5 picks in the top 100. I think those are 5 of the most important picks that we need for our future.
0 picks in the next 80 after that.
We
saw the same
won
tweet.
We won the Kenny Galladay trade stamp right now. We won it based on that comp pick.
Go back to past Evan and hate on him because he didn't want Kenny Galladay to leave. So
we didn't trade Kenny Galladay.
Correct. He left in free agency, Alex, but I wanted the Lions to
I was just correcting Grant because he wants
won the Kenny Galladay transaction.
He wants our listeners to have facts.
Thank you, Alex.
Overall, pretty boring, but the whole NFL, I think, is losing their minds in some divisions, and they're freaking out. But it's good to see. I like a lot of transactions. I think it's a fun time. I'm just excited for the draft because that's when the Lions fans can actually get excited.
The teams who have spent the most in free agency the last few years have had an average of 3 additional wins.
Oh, you Field Yates, you see that on Thursday.
So,
Alex, credit your sources, damn it.
I didn't remember who it was from. I see a lot of tweets.
Did you have any thoughts, Alex?
I thought it was pretty snooze fest. Didn't get much better, really. I like DJ Chark.
I think is good because in past regimes with Quinn, we went and spent on old Patriots, and that just sucks.
It's exciting to spend though, and pretend that you're going to be good.
Yeah, but unless it's for Zay Jones and Kirk, those are no. I would not have liked. I would not have
liked if we did the Jacksonville Jaguars routine.
Yeah, they're a clown show right now, and from what I saw.
I guess one thing I would say is Miles Jack could be somebody, but it's way too expensive. I think everybody's getting a little overpaid because the salary cap's going to go up every single year from here on out. I would like to see us sign a tight end though, so we're not wasting a draft pick on the tight end. That's my only position to where you can find somebody kind of solid, serviceable. So where you're not you're getting more athletes. It's a skill position. I get that, but you can get better depth at defensive back, wide receiver later in the rounds in the draft. You're not worrying about a tight end.
I also like the idea of being able to lock down a Tracy Walker, of him wanting to stay and not just leave us. So I like that. I think he's a good player. I will say, Evan, with the Charles Harris thing, when you stack out his contract against other DNs, it's not crazy expensive, so that makes me feel better. But also, like we said, he hadn't done much. He's a high draft pick that hadn't done much and then was in his contract year and had a great year. So there's questions there about that. But then again, right now, I'm not going to complain about us being able to keep talent that might have been looked at by other teams. So I enjoy that. And I also taking in Chark. Obviously, it will be disappointing if he's really good and we lose him because it's only a 1-year deal right now. But I do like to prove it. He came to Detroit on a prove it deal, which I think I'm reading the tea leaves that our culture is pretty solid right now and people like our coaching staff. And so we're able to lure some people we wouldn't have in the past to give us a chance.
You could franchise him, tag him next year, Grant, if you want.
Okay, I like that. I'm a huge Chark fan. We all know that.
One bad move for you guys, I know you're going to be disappointed, is re-signed Anzalone, but it looks like Jalen Reeves-Maben is out the door. So
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I would like it vice versa, where you let Anzalone go and you keep Reeves-Maben. He's a special teams galore. I don't know the age difference there. And I think Anzalone, the only reason he stays is because he knows the system.
He's really good at Madden football, too. That's probably why. I think Brad or Dan plays that a lot. One thing I wanted to say, too, it just kind of slipped my mind. Oh, did you see there was a tweet today from Evan Fox of the Pat McAfee show? He's a Detroit fan. One of my guests that I think would be great to have on the show because he doesn't get to talk much on the McAfee show because he's a producer, but he's a diehard Detroit fan. The latest Vegas odds for the second pick in the draft have Malik Willis as the favorite to be drafted at 2 by the Lions, plus 360.
I'm good with it.
And Vegas has some insider info.
They don't have insider info, but they just
about
think
the draft.
It's
they absolutely
pretty normal
do.
when a team needs a QB and they're picking at 2 to pick a QB. And Hutchinson's now going 1 because the Jags shored up their line.
Correct.
And so
he's gone. He's off the board.
We don't like Thibodeau.
No, it's Hamilton or Willis is plus 360.
I will riot with a safety at 2.
Well, we don't have a backup safety. We have 0 safeties besides Tracy Walker on our roster. So just embrace yourself. When Hutchinson goes 1, we are taking Kyle Hamilton.
Or Evan, you
Willis.
embrace yourself. You brace yourself for Malik Willis to be slinging that rock all over Ford Field.
And then I will start crying when that happens if he gets drafted at 2.
You don't want the better version of Jalen Hurts?
He's not the better version of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a national champion, Alex.
Yes, Evan.
National champion.
And do you know where Malik Willis went to school?
Champion.
Do you know where Malik Willis went to school?
The school that Hugh Freeze built. Bummer.
But where did he go first?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Because I'm not a fan of Malik Willis.
SEC football, Evan.
Congrats. Way to go. You went to Missouri, bro. Good for you. You went to Vanderbilt, not an SEC school.
No,
nobody cares. It's not baseball
he went
season.
To Auburn?
He went to Auburn.
Evan, get your out of
fans
here.
of Auburn football now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Please.
Oh.
Can you explain?
Yeah, you know. No, you know.
We all need to hire a personal secretary. That's all I'm saying.
So that is all for the show. At Shot of MS on everything. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, how to listen, rate, review, subscribe. All the Frans out there, whether it be Barcel Fran or Fran McCaffrey, gonna need you to put in those headphones, get into the Spotify or Apple app or YouTube, I guess, if you like to listen there. And just leave us a review and, maybe get in the comments, Fran McCaffrey, and tell us why you're going to actually make a run like everyone thinks this year. So go ahead and do that, Fran.
All the Justins out there, fill out your bracket, and if you win and your name is Justin, I personally will deliver a gift to you. Get something going in your work office, spread the word. This is the most popular bracket pool of all time. Spread it. People are jumping at the opportunity to join this group.
Yeah. To all the Grants out there, I need you to put your ego aside this March. You think you're the smartest guy on the planet, but put your ego aside and help out your local podcast. Write a review. You can say mean things. Just put 5 stars. Not anyone specific. I don't actually know any Grants, but if I did, I know you have a big ego.
If you don't subscribe to KenPom and then act like you know everything about college basketball, then what is even the point of subscribing?
True.
That's a great point.
And that's what I fell into this week. Cheers to episode 63.
Cheers.
To Ken Pomeroy himself.
To having perfect brackets and winning a bunch of money this week.
To Grant saying it is impossible for one of our teams to make the Sweet 16. Impossible.
The I word.